Welcome to BizHack Live, our free weekly webinar series on digital marketing best practices for small businesses. My name is Dan Gretsch, and I'm the founder and CEO of BizHack Academy and the host of BizHack Live. Today, we have a real treat for you. We're going to be talking about the 7 keys to exponential marketing. Now, a lot of you might wonder, what the heck is exponential marketing? It's a cutting-edge methodology developed in high-growth startups in Silicon Valley. It's taught at Singularity University, and it was honed in the book by Salim Ismail called Exponential Organizations. So exponential marketing is really a mindset and an approach to hypergrowth and how to market hypergrowth, sometimes called viral marketing. There are different terms that sometimes are used. Exponential marketing is really how to grow exponentially, to double in size every month, every week, every hour. Now, I also wanted to invite those of you who are here today to join us for How to Find Customers Online. This is a free grant-funded 5-week training. We had our first session this week, first class, but there are 4 more to go, and you can get a recording of the first class if you enroll. By a quick show of hands, I'm looking at the grid view right now. How many of you guys are enrolled in this? Just put your hand up. Yay. Christopher, you're not enrolled? You should be. Bobby, you should be enrolled. We would love to have you be a part of it. It's free, it's grant funded, I'm teaching it. And if I do say so myself, I think it's really worth your time and worth your while. We'll give you weekly assignments that will help you begin getting started in digital marketing. It really is kind of an encapsulation and summarization, summary of basically the best practices that BizHack Academy has developed over the last 7 years that we've been doing this training. So I wanted to just talk about first, thank our Season 2 partners, the Miami Marketers and South Florida Integrated Marketing Association. Thank you guys so much for helping promote this community BizHack Live series. Coming up next week, I'm going to be actually leading a session in partnership. This is actually the week after Thanksgiving, I should say. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to be leading a session with Emerge Americas, the big technology trade show, on free tools to find your ideal customer online. It's a great training. I've actually never given it before in public. I've only done it for private groups, so I definitely recommend it. The week after that, we're going to have the amazing Joe Laratro, SEO expert, on 9 steps you can take today to improve your presence on Google. If you're looking to drive traffic from search to your website, this is an unmissable session. And then finally, we're going to have our digital marketers graduation party. Those of you who are involved in either the 5-week program, Digital Marketers Edge, or the 5-hour free course that we're offering, you'll be graduating at this. So I hope to see you there again and celebrate your certificate of completion and your accomplishments. So I wanted to take that now to introduce our 2 amazing speakers, Karina and Gabrielle. So Karina is actually a BizHack alumnus. She's an expert in data storytelling and an insight and innovation consultant. She's a Singularity University alumnus as well, an Open EXO ambassador, and a certified coach and trainer in exponential organizations. And we're going to learn a lot today about what they mean by exponential organizations and what that methodology is. Karina's led corporate innovation programs and exponential transformation sprints in different industries. She's written more than 50 articles and is the co-founder with Gabriel of EXO Educate. Gabriel, who's from Argentina, is the co-founder with Karina of EXO Educate. He specializes as well in exponential transformation, skill development, and training programs, and he does these trainings both in the United States and across Latin America. He has vast experience as a facilitator and as an executive coach. He's an ambassador and certified trainer of Open EXO, and he was the former VP of Airport Operations for LATAM Airlines Group in the United States and the Caribbean. He also has an MBA and is a PhD candidate in Argentina. Without further ado, I want to welcome my two amazing guests, Gabriel and Karina.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Thank you, BizHack, for having us here. We are thrilled to having this time to share with you some really nice and good information. So let's start talking a little bit about what we're gonna be doing today. As Dan already mentioned, the idea is just to work a little bit about this idea of what an exponential organization is. We're gonna talk briefly about the exponential organizations and how we can manage and how we can leverage this idea of being an EXO, an EXO, and transforming it to a marketing strategy, right? So just as already Dan introduced ourselves, when I move forward, introduce our time. So let's start for really a deep understanding on why we are talking about exponential organizations right now, why it's important to understand how these organizations evolved and where this process comes. So let's start with a very quick video. I want to share with you about this fourth industrial revolution. Good, perfect. So as you can see, we are facing an incredible challenging times, as we all know, and we are entering in this exponential era. And so the idea is just to go very, very quickly on what it exactly means to be in this exponential era. So let's start from the very beginning. We were used to think in linear way of thinking, a linear way. So if you think of a linear way of thinking, it's like, okay, I wanna do 30 linear steps, and my results are gonna be that 30 yards. I'm gonna moving one step ahead. At the end, the result is gonna be that 30 yards. But on the other hand, if I want to try to thinking and try to implement something more exponential, let's try to see the results, how it goes. So if you're gonna start moving into more exponential way of thinking, and this really involves in a huge change of mindset, I want to talk a little bit more afterwards. Doing the same steps, doing the same 30 steps, in this case, going to be 30 exponential steps, the results are going to be very, very different, as you can see. The results are going to be 1 billion yards. And it will allows me to do like almost 28,000 turns around the earth with the same 30 steps. So that's the impact that we generate when you're thinking about something that is exponential. That's huge. The impact that we're going to be talking about, the impact of these type of organizations. And something very important about this type of organizations is that, as you can see, the results, you're gonna get the results just at the end of that journey. So if you see this table, you'll see that at the last 5 steps, you're gonna get that 97% of the result of the impact. So what does that mean? That it means that the first 25 steps you're gonna be doing, the results, you're not going to see the results as you're going to be doing if you are doing in a more linear way. So it's like there is a period of time where you're going to be moving forward, but you want to see the results. So there is a phase there that we call the disappointment phase. So and that's when you compare these two type of approach, the more exponential way or more linear, that's something very typical. As you can see, on the exponential side, there is a phase that we call that disappointment phase. But if you continue and you continue iterate and you continue working on the idea on your project, as we talk in this, leveraging with technologies, and use the technologies and implementing the attributes are gonna be seen right now, you're gonna get to that point. You're gonna get to that inflection point. So the goal is to get to that inflection point where your impact is gonna start impacting, growing in an exponentially way. So that's when the disruption happens. So that's the goal, how you can get into that disruption process in an exponential way and not thinking linearly. Yeah. So just one quick question to share, to ask you guys, everybody, if you want to answer on the chat. Who already heard about the term of exponential organizations? Who knows something or who heard something about exponential organizations? Somebody heard that term before? Somebody wrote the book? Just I want to see if there is somebody who can, you already know that. No, thank you, Terry. Okay, perfect. That's why you are here. That's perfect. That makes perfect sense. That's good. So thank you, Christopher. So where we can see this type of technologies or this type of disruption. Imagine there are so many areas right now in our lives that we can see this type of organizations impacting our lives. Imagine technologies like the drones and transportation and logistics. Imagine there is in the near future gonna be cities with huge ports that they are gonna be not needed anymore. Imagine we can unload and download containers from the ships directly with drones. So what we're gonna be doing with the ports of these for the cities. Imagine other things that we are doing like with 3D printing in terms of organs and health industry related with 3D industry. In the hospitality industry is huge. A lot of things are happening there with the technology and leveraging these attributes. And absolutely, we are talking about augmented reality or virtual reality. There are a lot of innovations that are happening and we can leverage in our business. So the idea here is we don't need to be experts on these technologies. Actually, I'm not an expert on every technology, but just to understand how this works and how we can leverage the technologies to our specific business, it would allow us to start moving in this path of exponential growth. Yeah. So the idea is just to really understand what's happening outside and how we can leverage all these things. So again, going in terms of the attributes, I just mentioned that each organization has to develop this type of attributes. The first one, I'm gonna be moving around these attributes, and then if anybody wants further information, we can share more about each specific attribute and some examples of how to implement them and some specific tools to implement them. But again, so the first one is this massive transformative purpose, this MTP. As I mentioned earlier, an EXO, it's a purpose-driven organization. So it has to have this massive transformative purpose. Yeah, and so that's very, very important to really understand what is the purpose to that company, why that company exists, what is the future that company is building. So then, if we go to the rest of these attributes, you can see the ideas attributes and the scale attributes. So on the ideas side is the way of how organizations are gonna be managing the abundance inside their companies. And the scale is how we can capture that, abundance that is outside on the world. So let's start with the scale part. It's like how we can capture that abundance that is out there. So the first one is staff on demand. And the idea of staff on demand is how I can get the talent that I need. And if definitely we can't hire the best and the most expensive talents around the world. So, but we can hire them, but we can contract them doing some type of work through staff on demand. So we're gonna talk a little bit some tools that we can have to really grab that talent that is outside there and we can use that talent. The community and crowd is how we can start building communities. Our EXOs, exponential organizations, are built around communities. So I'm going to be talking a lot about how we can build a community around our brands and our services, our products. Algorithms is the way of, again, every EXO, as just to mention some of, for sure you will know, like Netflix, for example, or Airbnb. They use a lot of algorithms in terms of understanding their customers and trying to create services and products to understand what they are looking for. Leverage assets is a way of, okay, if I can't, the most efficient way of organizing my business model is, instead of putting money in fixed assets, because that's costly, how we can leverage in assets that they are ready to use. So a very easy example to leverage assets is the co-working spaces. So instead of having my own office and having my own building, okay, so let's use other ones and let's rent it and just leverage other assets. So that type of situations or things that can be doing with just not office, but any type of asset that we are looking for. And engagement is a way of how we interact with our customers and our clients, how we can create this both way interaction. It's not just like I'm offering them something, but it's how we can create these both ways interactions with our clients and customers. So that's how we can grab that abundance that's out there on the world. And on the inside part, how we organize that, okay, so we need interfaces. The interface is like actually how we construct that interaction within the clients, how we can do that process very fluid, without any friction. So those are related to our interfaces. Dashboards is more how I control internally my processes. Usually when we are talking about dashboards, we're talking about OKRs methodology. I don't know if somebody heard about OKRs, but how we can manage our process on KPIs. What are we gonna do in terms of measuring the data that we need to make decisions based on data and not based on things that we think or believe, but rather in data. And that's, again, something very important in this type of organizations. The decisions are made based on data that we can grab and we can have from our clients and internally from our colleagues. The experimentation is very important in these type of organizations. Again, it's like iterating everything, iterating, trying new things. Go outside, let's try something new, let's measure, let's see how it goes. That's something very similar that Lean Startup methodology proposes. And the autonomy, we need to be very fast in terms of taking decisions. So if you think about big companies with a lot of bureaucracy, it's really hard to go through this process of innovation and iteration and experimentation without this type of autonomy. So the idea is how we can lower the decision-making process just to have the authority and the leadership necessarily in terms of taking decisions and moving forward with all this innovation process. And the social is how we interact within the company internally, usually with dispersed teams around the world, with different working remotely right now. So how we can interact within each other. There's so many great tools right now that allow us to interact within teams and co-create things together. So the idea of social, it's again, how we can work together, bring this collective intelligence together and work for a single purpose on a single objective of innovate or doing something new. We're gonna start talking about some marketing trends. The idea today was to present to you some marketing trends and how we can correlate those marketing trends with these attributes, right? So Kari, you wanna start helping us with that?
Yes, hi everybody. As Dan mentioned before, I have been in the world of marketing, I think for my entire life. The last 20 years, I have been working in marketing, and believe me that the last couple of years, everything was the same books, same playbooks, and same people talking about very similar issues. But what happened? COVID happened. And when COVID happened, and everybody knows what was COVID about, it started accelerating everything that we have in mind. And probably we were looking of moving forward with some new adjustments inside our companies, our business, our organizations, but we didn't because we were in our comfort zone and it was difficult just to move around. But what we need to do right now is to move and to move very fast because people now are believing in brands, are believing in organizations, just to take them outside of these uncertain times. Instead of believing in governments, in asking the politics what they do in the future of people related to the more economics areas, they are asking brands, they are asking organizations, how can they help them to achieve their dreams, to achieve their needs, and to get what they want and what they are going to want in the near future. Here I am going to share with you these 7 exponential marketing trends that you can use either to respond to customer needs in a different way, or you can use to pivot your business model that probably you start thinking about that before the pandemic, but now it's the time to do that. And on top of that, the most important thing is having the human connection in the center of the decisions that we are going to do. So when we are talking about the exponential, not only talking about marketing or digital marketing or technology marketing, but it's everything combined. In a moment that everybody is changing and the world is changing so fast, it's not enough to use only one of these attributes or these trends that Gabriel was mentioning. The most important thing that we want you to leave before this meeting is to understand that one is not enough. It's not enough anymore. If you change only your Google My Business, or you change your website, or you change your app, or you change your Facebook profile, that is not enough. You need at least to leverage 4 of them. So pay attention. If you have a pen and a paper, please take note about these 7 trends and think about which one of them or which 4 of them resonate with you. So the first one, trends in marketing that every company needs to have entering 2021 is the purpose. And Gabriel have talking about that. It's related to the MTP. The MTP is massive transformative purpose. We can have a massive transformative purpose when we are talking about global companies, or we can also have local purpose when we are trying to achieve a city, a neighborhood, or a community. But what is important, and mainly now that are very turbulent times, that everybody has a why, a big why, that it's not only related what type of product you sell or what services you offer to your customers or to your community. So it's very important to understand the big why you are in this business. How are your clients? Are they going to miss you if you disappear from this business that you are here? And when you think about that, not think about only your customer from today, but everybody, all the relationships that you have here, that it could be also your employees, your partners, and the rest of the community where your business is located. So what you can do to start this journey now, today, and to move forward with that, first of all, ask the big why. Why I am in business? What is my reason now? And why? Because if you understand your why, it's going to be very easy to pivot now that we are discovering that clients' needs are changing. Secondly, and it's very important for big organizations, they have sometimes separate what they want to achieve as companies and what the brand are communicated with the customers. So the second step is try to figure out what is your organization mission or vision or goal, and try to reset both of them, and at the third step, trying to offer a combined vision of both of them. Just to have an example, and we like with Gabriel very much these two examples. I have been working particularly with Patagonia for a long time, and their MTP, look at that, is Patagonia is in business to save the home planet. This is very envisioned. They are not talking about the products that they sell or what they do, but what they want to achieve. So inside this umbrella, they can start integrating a different type of business products in the near future. And if we see about Southwest, the MTP is connect people to what's important in their life through friendly, reliable, and low-cost air travel. Again, this is what try to make a difference between you and your competitors, and give you a broader way on how you can address your current customer and your future customer, because your future customer could be the same customer as today, but it can have a different need, a different hat. Our second trend is, and it's very, very important.
Can I pause for a sec?
Yeah.
So Karina, I'd like to just bring this a little bit down to earth, because these are big brands and large companies. You know, Southwest is a company a lot of us know for their excellent branding. And I'm just curious, are there maybe, like, what's one or two lessons from Southwest that you think any small business could apply to their marketing?
Okay, that's a very good question, and this is what I wanted to say at the end, that the most important thing today is when you think about your customer, you need to seek in your current customer and future customers, because they are going to evolve in the way that they consume. And for instance, it's the same that when people go to your business today, they want to have a pleasant dinner. So they buy high brand wine, and a very good food. But the second day, they won't have to have a very fast and cheap meal, just because they are in a meeting. So if you try to understand this differentiation among cost to consumers and customers, you are going to achieve everybody of them at the same time. Because, you know, as consumers, we think with the different hats, and we are changing. So don't try to feed only one, but try to feed everything, and to anticipate and to put in your customer's shoes. What they are going to achieve, the same that they want today is the same that they are going to achieve tomorrow. How can I be better prepared to evolve? And this was the second trend that I wanted to share about how you can prepare to evolve.
So, and Kari, let me add something else, and answering, Dan, your question. And I think that one of the most important things that we can learn from examples like Southwest is to be transparent with their purpose and what the things that they are facing. It doesn't mean that they face challenges in terms of facing difficulties in their operation, for example. As you mentioned, I came from the airline industry, so I know Southwest very well. And they faced in the past some issues and problems with their operations. So, but one important thing is how you face those challenges and how you connect and how you communicate to your customers about those challenges. So, and I think that Southwest did an amazing job talking very transparently to their customers, saying when they screw up, when they have some issues they couldn't solve. So I think that, again, for me, one of the main important issues to really be transparent and to be consistent with your purpose. Go, Kari.
Yes, now here we have a very good adding that humanizing the brand is really moving beyond your vision. Because when you talk about the vision, you talk about yourself. But when you talk about the purpose, we talk about how you want to see the world and the people and the communities and the society. So thank you for the comment in the chat. So moving into the second one that we have it here, and it's very important. It's the concept of agility, that it's a very trendy topic nowadays, and sometimes people don't understand how they can move into agility. But nowadays, having a marketing agility strategy, it's easy because it's not that only big companies can achieve. The only thing that you need to have is to have a data-driven decision making inside of the company. Everything that you are going to do, you need to make it accountable. So you want to achieve results in different areas of your business. You have different type of customers. Okay, how I am going to make them accountable, and how I am going to be able to move forward when I am reading the KPIs and the metrics. And sometimes people don't move forward because they don't know where to start. But the first way to start how you can move forward, lead through the customer, or talking to the customer, observing the customers, trying to understand what they say, taking notes. It's a very good way to start. Secondly, it's a collaboration in the building of a channel strategy design. Sometimes when we have the channel strategy, we are not part of building that, or the channel strategy could be disseminated in different type of people. But if you are accountable of doing that, you are going to build this path to the journey customer, and you are going to understand each of the paths and why, and the why of the path of the customer. And the third one, once you understand how your customer move, prototype that. And the good news is that we have here two different, very friendly and cheap ways and to do that. And these are two different tools. Gabriel, what do you want just to explain about those?
Yeah, just very, I don't know if somebody already knows about Zapier. It's a very known tool that you can use it to automate some of your workflows. So in case of you are having like email marketing campaigns and different things that you can reach your customers, and you want to automate their workflows. So what happened when a customer opens my email? What happened with a customer that makes a comment on my Facebook feed? What happened? So all those things can be automated, and Zapier is a great tool to do that. It's very friendly and accessible. And Thalamus, it's another company, another tool that we can use to really have like an integrate way of perspective of our actions, or marketing actions, or what's happening on social media, what's happening with our point of contacts in our stores, what's happening, I don't know, in our customer service representatives. So the Thalamus allows us to integrate all those touch points to really implement marketing campaigns and marketing strategies to have all these point of contacts aligned. So that's, and they are very oriented to small and medium business. So those two tools, there's something that we can use and leverage on.
And specifically for Thalamus, that Dan mentioned about the Emerge Americas, I met those guys in the Emerge America in the booth when they were initiating their startup. So everything is possible today. We can move to the third one. And it's very interesting, the third one, because Gabriel mentioned about this attribute that is community. And here the trend is thinking about the human experiences. And it's very important after the COVID to focus in these trends. And sometimes it's the question is, needs companies to focus on efficiency, or can they focus in serving and giving better experience to the clients? And of course, nowadays, the comfort is what people are looking about. And for building really great communities, and here all the attributes and all the trends are starting to be related, we need to understand the values that we have as a company and we want to show to everybody, the emotions that people have when they are buying or using our products or services. What emotions are we trying to fix or to gain? What are the actions that people are doing, and the trust? Are we delivering? Are we transparent with what we offer and what we're trying to achieve? And it's very interesting how we can start with that, because we don't know everything. So a good way is to start looking our blind points. And one of them, and especially for small and medium business, is that we don't have time to listen and to stop. So instead of trying to start a conversation in Facebook or trying to engage people, first we can listen again, observe what people are talking about, and we said it, sit out and lay back and wait for a while. It's good also to wait and not to talk if we don't have anything to say. It's good to have in this stillness time today. And then once we realize what people are talking, what they have been experimenting, how can we help them, be proactive, bring them what they need in this time. And here we have two great examples of communities. And the first one is a community where Gabriel belongs, because he likes very much to cycle. So you can explain better about the Peloton one.
Yeah, probably some of you already know Peloton. Peloton, it's the spinning bike. They are thriving right now because of COVID, obviously, but they were doing very, very well. And the idea was, at the end, is that they are not offering a bike, they're not selling a bike, they're selling a community. So you are part of a community where you share your exercise with other people around the world, where you share rewards, recognitions, and all of things that can be shared in terms of people that thinks and love things like you do. So at the end, it's like how you can create these type of communities where at the end it's not selling a product or a service, but again, being part of a bigger thing, a bigger community that shares the values and shares the things that you love. So that's a very good example. I like it. And a Kickstarter, it's another big community that it's used to, again, to start products, to try new products, to launch new products. So anybody who really wants to launch a new product, that want to try it on the market, Kickstarter is an easy way of putting that product out there and see how is the reaction of the people who belongs to this community, and to see if they back up your idea or not. So it is a good way of trying and measuring then some interest on your ideas or projects.
And it's moving to the next one. You don't need bigger communities. You need a community where that people can trust you, they can feel comfortable about, and a community is linked here with the trust, of course, because if you don't make a basement about trust, confidence, transparency, you are going to leave these people. So instead of cover this customer buying and repeating and engaging, you are going to have only one-time transaction. And we know that it's more expensive to attract new customers than to maintain the ones that we have. So it's very important to build that. And for building the trust, we need to be there where people are going to look. And we need to be findable. And I know that Dan likes to use very much these two examples about being approachable in Yelp or in Google, or if not, if you have a different type of business that you don't need to be there, you can have very good interfaces as well, where customer can enter your app, your Facebook page or your website and interact with you and find the information that they need. It is very important. And talking about the 3 steps, you don't need to talk about everything. You need to understand what people value as the first thing, try to get it. And then probably you can use one or two examples, probably talking about the data transparency, that is very important today. So you give people trust about your data transparency, about if it is the point. And then try to expand all the marketed toolkits that you have and move beyond building these interfaces and platforms where people in real time can understand and can know you better. This is very, very important today, to have a real-time conversation and that people can reach you very, very, very fast. And moving to the next one, that also is a very important trend, and it's related to community, to the trust, and to engagement. You are going to see that all the attributes and the trends are relating, because I said at the beginning, one is not enough. We need to build a marketing strategy, an exponential marketing strategy using 4 or more of that. And the engagement is the way that people start to interact with brands, and they are going to tell the brands what they feel. But in another way also, brands can use what people say to make improvements and to better understand what people are doing. So for me, the most important thing about the engagement is first have an engagement plan. Because 2 days ago, I was doing an advisor call, and people, and they asked me how I do the engagement. And I said, okay, how many times a day or how many times a week or a month do you want people to be engaged with you? So it's not writing every day, but you need to have a plan of what you want to do and how this relationship you want to use. And most important is not only for B2C, but nowadays also B2B can leverage this engagement, because we are going to see in the next trends, we are trying to get companies and business moving together and working to transform the world together and not alone. And again,
Kari,
yes.
Kari, just a quick note here. Again, when you think about engagement, that's when gamification comes into the table. So that gamification, something maybe you heard before, it's like how you can interact and you can turn this interaction in this engagement through gaming with your customers. So again, this is a good way of, as an example, Duolingo do it very well. So how you can interact with your customers and how you can do it in a friendly and funny way.
Yes, thank you. Yes, gamification is one of them. Yes, I like it very much, but I wanted just to express that it's not the only way, because sometimes people don't know how to start with gamification. But you can start understanding and having a plan, because if you have a plan, also the passive ways of interaction are useful. You don't need to be playing all the day. And it's very interesting, because in the study that we did, you need also to focus in your target. Not all the targets are going to respond the same way. Of course, younger generation are more into the engagement every hour, and older generation they have another way of engagement. Both are good ways. It's all depends on your strategy at the time. So moving to the last two trends, the next one, it's very interesting, and we were talking about is the fusion one, and it's how you can not only use what you have, and Gabriel said before when he was talking about the attributes. Nowadays that everything is open, we have an abundance where we can make combinations, and we can use other companies to move forward. And in that movement, we can do a lot of experimentation. So start doing and thinking about innovations, using other companies to move forward with them, and iterate. If it doesn't work, we move forward and we start over. But the most important thing is don't be still. Move. And here we have two different companies as well that are using the crowd, are using the communities, are using people, are using other companies to do hackathons, challenge to collaborate with them to produce better products and services. So that is very important about the collaboration and the fusion within companies. And the last one, and it's very, very nice, I like this very much, is the talent one, and it's the staff on demand. And it's especially for small and medium business that sometimes we say, okay, we want to do a lot of things, but we don't know how to start, or we don't have in-house all the different talent that could do the business. So nowadays, the gig economy, and there are so many different platforms that we can use to leverage this. But first of all, think about the culture. What is your culture, and how you are going to use these different platforms that are going to have relationships that last for years. Second, you need to change your mindset as well. Okay, I am not going to have all the talents, all the people in-house. I need to go outside and to use different people just to help me. So this is a change in the mindset. And try to get also, this is the last one, and it's very important nowadays, to establish this lifelong learning strategy, just to understand, okay, what I need to achieve in the 2 or 3 years, how I am going to start now to achieve these results. And probably you are not going to know how to do a website, but you have the people in Fiverr or in Upwork that can help you. But at the end of the journey, probably you will be capable of developing at home. But this is the important thing of using staff on demand, that you can do whatever you want using people that are outside of your company. Gabriel, to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Kari. So just as the invitation here is just like, okay, let's think about all these marketing trends, all these attributes. And if you want to select, okay, which are the 3 that really need to be developed? Which are the 3 when I can start? So that's just an invitation for you guys to keep thinking on these trends, on these attributes, to plan ahead on the next steps on your Excel transformation. So just as a finish, Dan, we are going to send everybody an invitation to join us in a challenge that we are putting together to work everybody, again, solving a challenge and a type of hackathon activity, just to really experience the things that we are talking here. So this is going to be happening on Saturday, January 9th. It's going to be an activity of 3 hours. We'll be divided in groups. You can participate with your own group, or you can join another group. And going to be assigned a coach and a disruptor. You're going to be working during 3 hours to really solve a huge challenge. And the challenge that we'll be solving here is the future of SMEs in the exponential area. So it's something that everybody's going to be receiving more information shortly. We're going to be inviting everybody to join us in this activity, co-organized with BizHack and Exoeducate. And that's it.
Wonderful. So Gabriel, a couple quick questions.
Yeah.
So could you go over again, I know you went over them kind of slowly, but could you go over them again? Just name the trends.
Yeah, we can go very easy. So the first one, it's purpose, right?
Okay, so let me just make sure I understand. So purpose is about a small, and we're going to just try to apply these to a small business, okay?
Okay, perfect.
So for purpose, it's really about understanding why you do what you do and making sure you're aligned with the needs of your customers?
Yes, that's why you are there. Exactly, and it's not necessarily the mission or the vision, but exactly why this company needs to exist.
Right, like how, like let's say that tomorrow you were erased from the earth, how would the world be a less?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's purpose. I think we got that.
Yeah.
Next.
And for all of these trends, we have some tools that if somebody is interested of, okay, how can I develop my own purpose? So we can share with you some of these tools or toolkit to share and develop these type of things.
Yeah, so what I would like for the follow-up is for each of these trends, if you could just give us links to how to like really apply this to our own businesses. All right, so let's talk about agility. So agility, it sounds like to me, based on what you said, it's being able to pivot or move in response to market changes and the changing needs of your customers.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
And use data to drive those decisions.
That's the most important part, using data. It's like, okay, I want to try this. I want to prototype. I want to try on the market. I want to get some insights of the market. I want to take some feedback from the customers. If I validate my hypothesis, I move forward. If then my hypothesis is not validated, then I pivot. Yeah, exactly that.
Perfect. Yeah. So like a great example of agility is, COVID-19 happens, people start getting online more, going to stores less. You see that data, and then you apply that to your business, make sure your customers are, fit into that trend, and then change your business product and services and marketing in response. All right. Next is human experience. So this is really remembering that all marketing is a human to human interaction. And so therefore, rather than B2B or B2C or trying to market based on price, you really think in terms of how do you connect with someone on a human level.
Yeah, that's perfect. And again, it's like connect in that human level to create a community. At the end, the goal here is how you create a community, because it's very important when you're facing troubles and you're facing challenges. If you have a strong community that supports you, that will be much more easy to go through that process.
Yeah, and honestly, I think, with a little bit of lack of humility, I think this is an example, like BizHack is a good example
Perfect.
Of how you can take like a boring digital marketing class and turn it into a community.
That's perfect. That is a great example. At the end, it's like BizHack is not a training company, it's a community. So on that, it's make that BizHack much more stronger than if you're just like a training company, right?
And I'm looking at Susan and Ruthann and Julia and Amy and Milu and Terry. Would you guys agree that there's a community here? So you can feel the community. How you build it is not as obvious, but the fact that we're able to take, honestly, digital marketing is a very technical field. It should be pretty boring. Yeah. It's not the sort of thing you would necessarily think of creating community around. All right, next one. Trust. So trust is a big one for marketing. I talk about trust is created through vulnerability and authenticity. What do you think?
That's perfect, right? Yeah, that's how it is. You need to be there. You need to be present. You need to be transparent. And yeah, that's the key.
So if you're thinking about this, transparency and authenticity, if you're having a tough time, sometimes it's okay to admit to your customers, like at the beginning of the session, I talked about how I had put on some makeup and, my technology was a little bit challenging. So we started a little bit late. It's not professional to start late, but at least you understand why. And it does, if people feel that feel that you're vulnerable and authentic, they'll trust you. And that's very important for a brand, especially in my case, a training brand where there's so many bad actors out there. Not to get political, but like Trump universities that just are looking to kind of rip you off. And so if you're dealing with private education and adult education, you need to really build trust in order to be viable.
And again, I think that's like when you change these like big challenges and a huge opportunity, because when you're facing these issues or some problems that at the end, every business will face sometime. So you are using that specific challenge in terms of building trust. So that's a huge opportunity.
Next. So next is participation. So participation is finding both passive and active ways to get people to interact.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit more about that. Like I like to create interactivity through the chat, for instance, during these BizHack Lives. But what does participation mean for a company that's, say, an e-commerce company, or help us understand and unpack that one a little bit?
Yeah, the idea is, again, how we can create these two ways interaction. It's not just me posting things or me doing some type of advertise or offering type of service, but how I can go in these two ways and I can really grasp the ideas of these customers or get the information they have, how they can interact and emotional attach to my product or service.
Perfect. Okay, so getting people to participate in your brand in active and passive ways. What does it mean to be passively participating? I don't get that.
Passive at the end is like, okay, you can actively participating is like when somebody asks me something to do, like again, doing something, but I can passively participate because I'm watching something, some material, some content that the company sent me. So in that case, I'm not participating actively, but passively I'm doing something.
Right, like so Camilla and Susan and Victor are passively participating right now.
Yeah, right, exactly right.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. You know, another way to passively participate, when I worked at the radio station, WLRN, NPR, I thought about this a lot. We created communities of listeners, but they were all passive participants. You know, their active community was listening alone together.
Yeah.
So that I definitely know what you mean there. Now, fusion, right, is reimagining the art of what's possible when a company oh my God, I don't know what the hell fusion means. All right, so explain fusion to us small businesses.
The idea is, again, is putting all these things together. I think the experimentation part is like, okay, how we can find the right partner to move forward? How can I get those customers' ideas? And through experimentation, that's a process of experimentation. So get out of the building and how you can leverage on the knowledge on finding the right partners, because sometimes in this process, the critical part is like, okay, who can I do this? Which is my good?
Yeah.
So the idea of these type of activities, like the challenge that we're going to be doing, the hackathons, or these type of things, is like get out and ask for help, ask for ideas, ask for partners to join you. So let's see what we can do together. So this is a process of again putting different stakeholders on the table to work for a solution.
So here's what that means to me. A lot of small businesses can grow, let's say 1x on their own. But if you find the right partner, even though you'll make less, you can grow at 10x. So for me, fusion means that you can grow much faster, exponentially, even if you're not making as much because you're sharing in the profits. And I think a lot of us small business owners, especially solo practitioners like me who are solo owners of the company, we hang on to that really tight, and we actually grow a lot slower than we might be able to, because by loosening up and bringing in partners and breathing in some air and new ideas, we actually can grow faster. And I think that's part of the idea behind fusion.
That's the idea. Again, it's like get out of the building and try to find somebody else who's facing the same challenges that you are. Bring together these people on the table and let's talk and discuss how we can help each other.
Perfect. Next. Talent. Well, talent, I think, is critical. You know, the strengths of the owner, the strengths of the founder are the weaknesses of his company. In other words, you know, I am a very experienced journalist and content creator and storyteller, but if you look in the 3 years that I've been in business, I haven't done a lot of content marketing except for courses. And so the reason why is because whenever I look to hire someone to do that, I always said, oh no, I'm better at it than they are. But then I never had the time because I wasn't in that seat. And so that's why the strengths of the owner can often be the strengths of the founder can be the weaknesses of her company. And so you have to kind of self-overcome a little bit and recognize that really your job as the owner of the company is to find amazing talent and let them flourish. Yeah. And it's not easy to find amazing talent, like I'm blessed with Lilia, but also to then give her the ability to flourish in the role. And that is also part of it.
And again, talking about this abundance that we've been talking at the beginning, there is an abundance of talent in the world. But definitely we can't, as small and business companies, we can't hire them. It's not affordable for us. But we can hire some specific talent for some specific job, for some specific project. So the idea is, okay, let's change a little bit of our way of thinking and let's see if I need to tackle one specific task, how I can get that talent to that specific task.
And one thing I would add about that is that one of the best ways to attract talent is by articulating your purpose.
Yeah,
so we go back to the beginning where we were talking about having a purpose. If you articulate it in a powerful way, people will want to participate, will want to join your company, will want to join the movement. And if you actually look at Simon Sinek's why, that's a leadership methodology. It's not a marketing or sales methodology. It's a leadership methodology that if you powerfully articulate why you do what you do, people will want to be a part of it, whether they're customers or employees. And I think that just as an example, I think I've gotten a lot better over the last year, especially at articulating why I do what I do. And so as a result, yesterday I had a young man who I'd never met write me an email with his resume attached. And he said, look, I would love to be a part of your company. I have no idea if you have a job opening, but I like what you're doing. So I figured I would just share that with you. And so I feel like, you attract talent when you articulate your heartfelt purpose.
Yeah, that's how it works. Definitely. That's a really good example.
And all right, so those are the principles. And then if you go back one slide, so the exponential learning journey is about mindset, challenge, action, and learnings. And I love that you have mindset in there, because I like to say when it comes to BizHack and digital marketing, there really are two things that we're working on. We're working on skill set and we're working on mindset. And I actually think skill set is easier to learn than mindset. Definitely. Because many of you, and I can point you out, but I won't, Ruth Ann, are perfectionists, and you hold yourself to too high a standard. That's a mindset issue. And that mindset is holding you back from implementing the skills. The skills are trivial. It's your own over ambitious self-vision that can often cause you to get trouble with the mindset. And so it's interesting that in the classes that I teach, which are really very technical training classes in how to market, it's often very emotional for people. And we had a graduation celebration where we had a final presentations where 5 of the 30 people cried during their presentation. And the reason why I truly believe is that all of us are impacted by what's going on in the world and by self-talk and how we were raised and the psychological barriers, and you have to work on your mindset in order to overcome that.
Yeah, just Dan, to support yourself, I think, again, when you're talking about mindset, what is really behind that mindset is the beliefs. So you need to start thinking on which are your beliefs that create that mindset. So that's the process of, again, trying to change that mindset by really challenging your beliefs.
And specifically your limiting beliefs. There are 2 types of beliefs. There are core values and there are limiting beliefs. And this is a really important distinction. So core values are the things that are true about you today, were true yesterday, and will be true tomorrow. So for instance, for me, one of my core values is that I champion the underdog, right? Another core value is I love hard puzzles, right? That was true when I was a kid, and it's true into my future. I connect fast and deep is one of my core values. I love to turn things around. I have them written on the wall. I like to make it fun. I love to paint pictures with words. I love to dare to fail gloriously. These are core values that have been true yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And no matter what I do, whether I'm a journalist or a marketer at a billion-dollar electric company or a startup founder at a technology company or the founder of BizHack, my own small business, I have these values and they stay consistent and I express them every day, whether I realize it or not. The other thing is limiting beliefs. So it is a limiting belief that I can either serve small businesses or Fortune 500 companies. Somebody in a feedback survey wrote to me yesterday, Dan, you could do both. So yes, they're right. It's a limiting belief. So we all have limiting beliefs. Some limiting beliefs are good and helpful. Like for instance, my wife is the CEO of a company in Miami. So a limiting belief is that I need to be in Miami in order to, make a living. Like I have to run my business out of Miami. That may or may not be true, but it is a limiting belief. It limits the possibilities of what's there. So if you articulate your limiting beliefs and then ask, are they true or are they actually mindset challenges that you need to overcome?
Yeah, definitely. And a great way of doing that is like going through an experience in it. And that's why we are putting this challenge in this journey, because I think that we need to challenge those mindset. And a way of challenging is like putting into practice, experiencing, just like questioning, okay, this is true or not is true. There's another way of doing these things. Again, in presence type of training. It's the only way of training somebody? No. Now everybody's training through online type of platforms. So
yeah, and what I love about this also is, okay, so now you've shifted your mindset. Now you have to go do something.
Yeah.
Right. And then you learn from it. So test and learn.
Yeah, so that's why that this process is like, okay, this is something new, just acquire new perspective, challenge it, do something, put it into action, and then learn something about the process. And now you continue iterating this journey, and you continue. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's no learning without doing. It's why everything, especially for adults, you know, you can't get lectured at and make changes. Like if I were you guys, I would do, every time you come to a BizHack Live, I would write down one commitment to yourself of something different you're going to try as a result of it. And that will help you determine, like make a change in your life based on what you're learning here, as opposed to just listening, absorbing it, and then moving on. With studies have shown that within 2 days, you'll have forgotten 90% of it. Yeah. You have to put some of it in action in order for it to actually stick. With that, I want to say thank you so much, Gabriel and Karina. I really appreciate you guys being here today. And do you want to close with this quote?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things that we are facing. There is no middle ground now. So, what happened here? So you need to decide between these two options. You can be the disruptor, or you can be the disrupted. So there is no middle ground here. So let's make some steps, make some plan, and let's move forward. I think that we have so many amazing tools around there that we can move forward and really be the disruptors here.
I love that. Yes, Terry, this recording will be available. I love that. I remember that when I was the NPR, and we'll close with this little anecdote. When I was the news director at NPR in Miami, I remember I did a strategy meeting, and the first slide in that strategy meeting was of a train heading straight towards the camera. And I said to the folks in the room, a train is headed towards us, and you all have a choice. You can either hop aboard or get run over. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit intense. I don't know if I would take quite that approach if I were running a newsroom today. I was in my 30s and I was full of piss and vinegar, as my dad would say. But that, you know, that is really what we're talking about here. Is the digital disruption is a train that is already left the station, and we have no choice. The choice is either to get left behind or to hop aboard. And so these BizHack Live presentations, this EXO Educate organization is all about helping you hop aboard in a way that is not going to get your knees all scuffed. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.